When you desire something, the first step is not effort, not struggle, not asking another, but the quiet recognition that it already exists within you. Creation is finished. All possible realities already are, and the one you long for lives even now, waiting for your acceptance. But how do you bring it forth? You do not wrestle with circumstances. You do not plead with the outer world. Instead, you do the most powerful thing of all. You relax. Relaxation is not laziness. It is faith in action. To relax is to declare, I need not force, for it is already mine. In stillness, the truth of your desire rises to the surface. You let go of anxious grasping, and in that surrender, you step into alignment with the life you seek. And then, trust. Trust is the invisible substance that carries the unseen into the seen. Trust means resting in the knowing that what you claimed within must unfold without. When you trust, you no longer ask when or how. You simply know. Today it is done. Expectation is the magnet of fulfillment. To expect it the same day is not arrogance, it is clarity. It is recognizing that time bends to the state you occupy. If you feel yourself to already be the one who has, then the outer must conform swiftly. The delay is never in reality, it is only in belief. So, walk today as though it has already happened. Speak with the tone of one who possesses. Rest with the calmness of one who knows. Allow your world to catch up to the truth you are already living inside. The secret is this: the moment you dare to relax, to trust, to expect now, life has no choice but to reveal what you have claimed. So this very day, not tomorrow, not someday, relax, trust and expect. Watch as your world bends to your inner certainty and delivers to you the evidence of what you already know to be true. Imagination is the seed of all reality. The moment you see it inwardly, it is already yours. This truth may sound too simple, yet it is the foundation of everything you have ever experienced. Nothing in your outer world has ever appeared without first existing in the unseen chambers of mind. Every building you passed, every invention you hold, every relationship you have entered, each was first an idea, a picture, a quiet vision held within someone's imagination. The outer world is nothing but the shadow of inner vision. And when you realize this, you begin to treat your imagination not as a playground for idle thought, but as the creative womb of life itself. The imagination is not daydreaming in the way most dismiss it. It is the act of creation. When you imagine with feeling, when you allow the image of your desire to come alive within, you plant a seed. Just as a gardener does not plant a seed and then return the next morning to dig it up in doubt, you must not question the seed of imagination. You see it inwardly, you feel its reality, and you know it is already yours. The unseen does not need time to exist. It is real the moment it is conceived. The outer world, what you call reality, is nothing more than the slow unfolding of what you have already accepted within. When you hold an inner picture with conviction, the world rearranges itself to match. The circumstances, the people, the so-called coincidences, these are simply the soil breaking open as the seed you planted begins to sprout. It may take the form of sudden opportunities, chance meetings, or an effortless unfolding of events. Yet in truth, none of it is random. It is the harvest of imagination. This is why you must guard what you allow yourself to dwell upon. If you give life to fear, worry, or limitation in imagination, you are sowing seeds of experiences you do not desire. The law is impartial. It does not ask whether you are imagining in faith or in fear. It only knows to bring forth what you have accepted. If you can imagine misfortune and feel it real, it will come. But if you can imagine success, love, abundance, and dwell in that vision until it feels natural, then these too will be compelled to appear. The moment you see it inwardly, it is already yours, because possession begins in consciousness. Ownership is not when you hold something in your hands, but when you claim it within. The world will eventually reflect what you already know yourself to be. If you imagine a life of freedom, of joy, of fulfillment, and remain faithful to that unseen picture, then even if the outer denies it now, it must come. Imagination is the beginning of everything, and to live wisely is to live as the careful sower of your own inner garden. Plant only what you wish to see, and rest in the assurance that what you see inwardly will, without fail, become the world you walk in tomorrow. Relaxation is the bridge. In stillness, you align with the fulfillment of your desire. The restless mind believes it must strive, fight, and labor to bring about change, but in truth, struggle is the denial of the very thing you long for. To chase is to affirm distance. To strain is to confess lack. True power is not found in force, but in surrender, not in frantic activity, but in calm expectation. Relaxation is not weakness. It is a declaration of mastery. It is saying, I need not grasp, for what I seek is already mine. When you enter a state of stillness, you dissolve the frantic noise of doubt and fear. In stillness, your attention is freed from the outer evidence that denies your desire, and it returns to the inner world where creation begins. This is why stillness is a bridge. It takes you from the state of wanting to the state of having. The moment you relax into the inner vision of your desire, you have crossed over. You no longer stand on the side of longing. You stand on the side of fulfillment. Think of the times you have wanted something so strongly that your mind would not rest. You replayed the absence of it over and over, trying to figure out how it would come, when it would come, and through whom it would arrive. That agitation only built a stronger sense of lack. The more you pushed, the farther it seemed. But recall also the times when you simply let go, when you released the tension and rested in a quiet, knowing that it was done. Strangely, in those moments of ease, the desire moved toward you effortlessly. What appeared as coincidence or luck was only the natural flow of reality meeting the state of stillness you had entered. Relaxation is alignment. It is choosing to dwell in the end instead of battling with the process. In that stillness, you taste the feeling of having. You breathe as the one who already possesses. You walk as the one who already is. This is not passive daydreaming, it is active embodiment. The still mind does not plead with the future, it rests in the present fulfillment. To align with desire is to accept it now, and acceptance can only be felt in ease. When you are tense, you are resisting. When you are relaxed, you are allowing. An allowance is the very act by which the unseen flows into the seen. Just as a river cannot move freely through a dammed channel, your desire cannot pass through a mine filled with resistance. But when you release, when you soften into trust, the current of life carries it to you with perfect precision. So make relaxation your practice. Breathe deeply, still the chatter of doubt, and let your body and mind sink into calm. See your desire within, and then rest as though it were already complete. In that stillness, you have crossed the bridge. You are no longer reaching, you are receiving. And as surely as the seed knows how to break through the soil, your desire knows how to appear in form. Relax, and it will be. Expectation is faith in motion. To expect today is to invite immediate manifestation. Faith by itself is invisible, intangible, and for many a distant concept. But when faith takes on the form of expectation, it becomes alive, active, and magnetic. Expectation is the forward movement of belief. It is faith dressed in certainty. To expect is to know that what you have accepted inwardly must reveal itself outwardly. And the degree to which you expect determines the speed at which the invisible is called into form. When you expect something, you no longer ask if. The question of possibility is already settled. Expectation removes hesitation, because expectation is possession. You anticipate with calm assurance, not with anxious hope. The one who hopes still wonders, but the one who expects knows. This knowing, carried in quiet confidence, sends out an invisible call to life itself. People, opportunities, and events respond, aligning themselves with the inner state of certainty you hold. Expectation is powerful because it operates in the present, not in the future. To expect today is to declare, now is the appointed hour. It shifts desire from a vague someday into an immediate reality. When you postpone expectation, you postpone manifestation. But when you rise in the morning and walk as though your desire is set to unfold this very day, you live in the vibration of readiness, you prepare the way for it to appear, for you are already aligned with receiving. Think of a guest you have invited to your home. If you truly expect them today, you prepare. You set the table, you tidy the room, you wait with anticipation. You do not say, perhaps in a few months they will arrive. No, you act in alignment with their immediate arrival. So too with your desires. If you expect them today, your thoughts, words, and actions naturally shift into harmony with their presence. Expectation opens the door, and life cannot help but walk through it. Many delay their desires because they live in waiting rather than expecting. They say one day it will come, and so the arrival remains at a distance. The law mirrors your stance, and if you push fulfillment into the future, it remains in the future. But the one who claims it now, who expects it without hesitation, pulls it into the present. To expect is to compress time, to collapse the distance between desire and fulfillment. Expectation is not straining, it is resting in the assurance that what is inwardly true must become outwardly visible. It is the relaxed confidence of one who has already received. To expect today is to carry yourself differently, to speak differently, to see differently. You no longer look for signs of absence, you notice only the hints of arrival. So let your faith move into motion. Do not hope vaguely or wait endlessly. Expect, and expect now, for when you dare to believe that today is the day, you summon immediate manifestation. Life rushes to meet the one who stands in the certainty of fulfillment, and the world reshapes itself to honor the power of expectation. Without delays, trust accelerates. The world mirrors the certainty of your inner stance. Doubt is not a passive state. It is active resistance. When you doubt, you are not standing still. You are moving in the opposite direction of your desire. Doubt plants seeds of delay, scattering the power of your imagination and weakening the conviction of your faith. The mind that entertains doubt creates obstacles that were never there to begin with. It looks for evidence of failure, and in doing so, it multiplies the appearance of obstacles. Doubt whispers, "What if it doesn't work?" And that question alone begins to build the reality of delay. Trust, on the other hand, is movement forward. Trust accelerates the unfolding of your desire because it removes inner contradiction. When you trust, you are unified. Your thoughts, emotions, and inner stance all point in one direction. There is no resistance, no counter-belief pulling you back. Trust is the atmosphere in which desire flourishes. It is the fertile soil where the seed of imagination breaks open and begins to grow. The world is a mirror, and it cannot reflect anything other than the certainty you hold within. If you are divided inside, partly believing, partly doubting, your outer world mirrors that division. You experience mixed results, delays, and uncertainty, not because life is unkind, but because you have not yet chosen to stand firmly in one state. But when you place yourself fully in trust, the mirror becomes clear. The world has no choice but to reflect the calm certainty of your inner being. Trust does not mean knowing how or when something will appear. It means resting in the assurance that it already exists and that its path to you is inevitable. Doubt constantly asks for proof, but trust knows proof is unnecessary. Trust feels the reality of fulfillment so deeply that outer evidence becomes irrelevant. And paradoxically, it is this very detachment from needing proof that allows the outer world to bring the proof quickly. When you trust, your energy changes. You speak with authority, you move with confidence, you carry yourself as one who already has. That shift in inner stance communicates silently to life, and life responds with speed. Doors open, people appear, opportunities align, not because of chance, but because you have ceased to contradict your own desire. Doubt stretches time, while trust compresses it. Doubt looks ahead and says, "Not yet." Trust stands in the now and declares, "It is done." And the outer world, ever faithful to the inner, obeys. This is why those who live in trust often seem to experience miracles. What appears sudden or effortless to others is simply the natural acceleration that comes when one removes inner resistance. So examine your stance. If you find yourself waiting, hoping, questioning, you are entertaining doubt, and delay will follow. But if you choose to rest, to trust, to stand firm in the certainty of fulfillment, you accelerate the manifestation of your desire. The world has no will of its own, it only reflects. Stand in trust and watch how swiftly life mirrors back the reality of your inner assurance. Time is an illusion of the mind. Creation is already finished. Only acceptance makes it visible now. What you call time is not a force that creates, but a stage upon which creation unfolds. Every possibility, every outcome, every version of your life already exists in the eternal now. Nothing is being built, nothing is being added. The script of existence is complete, written outside of time. What you experience as past, present, and future is simply the mind's way of organizing infinite realities into a sequence that feels linear. Yet the truth is this: nothing is waiting to be made. All is finished. When you understand this, the pressure of waiting dissolves. You do not need to beg, strive, or plead for your desire to be created, for it already is. Somewhere within the infinite spectrum of reality, the version of you who has already attained it exists now. To manifest is not to force something into being, but to shift awareness to the version of reality where your desire is already true. Time does not bring it closer. Acceptance reveals it here. Consider how you recall a memory. To the mind, it feels as though you are moving backward in time, reliving an event. Yet that event is not happening now. It is simply a state of consciousness you re-enter. The same principle applies to the so-called future. The moment you imagine yourself as having something, you are touching that reality. You are not creating it out of nothing. You are tuning into what already is. This is why imagination is so powerful. It allows you to bypass the illusion of time and claim what is eternally present. The idea that it will come someday is a trap of the mind. To say your desire is in the future is to confess that it is not yours now, and so it remains forever distant. But to accept it as finished is to collapse the illusion of time. You do not wait for tomorrow, you declare it now. And in that acceptance, reality reorganizes itself to show you what you have already chosen. Think of a radio. All stations exist at once, broadcasting simultaneously. You do not create the station when you tune in, you simply align with it. So too with your desires. Every possibility is already broadcasting. You need only tune your inner state to the frequency of fulfillment. The moment you do, that version of reality becomes visible. Time can deceive you into thinking that you are separate from your desire, that you must earn it, wait for it, or prove yourself worthy. But when you see that creation is finished, you rest. You no longer chase or resist. You accept. And acceptance is the great unveiling. It lifts the veil of time and shows you the reality that has always been yours. So release the burden of waiting. Stop measuring days and hours as though they have power over your destiny. Step into the eternal now and accept. For the truth is simple yet profound. Creation is finished, and only your acceptance makes it visible today. Rest in assurance. Act in knowing. Your quiet confidence today brings tomorrow into this very moment. Assurance is not loud, nor is it desperate. It is a quiet strength, a steady certainty that what is claimed within must be revealed without. To rest in assurance is to stop wrestling with appearances, to cease questioning whether or not your desire will come. It is to live as though it is already so. When you rest in assurance, you align yourself with the end, and in doing so, you collapse the distance between what you call now and what you call tomorrow. Confidence is the language of fulfillment. Those who know something belongs to them do not fidget, plead, or worry. They carry themselves with ease, with composure, with a stillness that radiates. This is the essence of living in assurance. You do not need to announce it or convince others of it. The certainty within you silently reshapes the outer world. Life mirrors back the energy you embody, and assurance is the clearest signal of possession. But assurance alone does not mean inactivity. To rest in assurance is paired with action, yet not frantic action, not desperate motion, but action born of knowing. When you know something is yours, you naturally move in harmony with it. You take steps that feel aligned. You make choices consistent with the end you have already accepted. These actions are not attempts to make something happen. They are the effortless flow of one who knows it already has. Tomorrow is never separate from today. What you call tomorrow is only the echo of the state you embody now. If you are anxious today, tomorrow must echo that anxiety. If you are confident today, tomorrow must echo that confidence. To rest in assurance now is to program tomorrow with the certainty of fulfillment. Your quiet confidence today brings the reality of tomorrow rushing into the present moment until the line between them dissolves completely. Think of someone awaiting an answer they already know will come. They do not pace the room in worry. They move calmly, smiling, already living in the result. Their confidence does not wait for the letter, the call, or the confirmation. It rests in the invisible knowing. And because of that knowing, their experience unfolds smoothly. This is the power of acting in assurance. Your quiet confidence is a magnetic field. It tells the world who you are and what you possess, even before evidence arrives. It is not noise, not striving, but a calm state of being that compels reality to match it. Assurance speaks in silence, and silence is heard more powerfully than words. So let today be filled with rest and knowing. Do not postpone your fulfillment to a distant tomorrow. Bring it here by embodying it now. Rest in the assurance that it is done and act as one who has received. In that union of stillness and aligned action, you collapse time itself and tomorrow steps forward into the eternal present. The truth is simple yet profound. All that you seek is already here, waiting only for your acceptance. Imagination plants the seed, relaxation bridges the gap, expectation moves faith into action, trust accelerates fulfillment, time dissolves in the knowing that creation is finished, and assurance anchors tomorrow into today. When you weave these truths into your daily living, you cease to chase. You cease to beg. You begin to live as the possessor, not the seeker. To rest in the end, stand in confidence, and let life reveal what you have already claimed within. There is nothing more to wait for, nothing more to force. Relax, trust, expect, and know it is done. Thank you for listening.